¿Qué pasa? Welcome back to another Pokemon Masters EX video on my channel. So today we're going to take a look at Ethan and his Ho-Oh. Now, this is the latest collaboration character, which is currently available for scouts, right? So we're going to look at his skill set, his attacks, and whether he's actually a must scout unit or whether you're gonna be good if you skip him. We're gonna be looking at everything, so let's get right into it. Right, let's take a look first at the attacks which Ethan's Ho has to offer, right? So he does have Fire Spin, which is basically the basic attack, which does 45 damage, but it also leaves the opponent trapped, right? If we're gonna take a look at the tiles which you can also activate for this. I mean, there is a couple of tiles you can actually use to actually get more damage out of this, but not really by that much, right? So that's anyways that attack. Then we have Sunny Day, so he is able to inflict a weather on the field, which is awesome. That alone makes him actually a pretty decent unit in terms of usability, right? Overall usability, right? So that's one thing. Then we have Rainbow Flames Sacred Fire. This attack does 198 damage, right? And the activation condition is essentially when it turns sunny, so you can use this all the time. It also removes frozen condition from the user and lowers the target's defense and special defense by 1 stat rank, right? Also, it leaves the target burned, which is nice. So this move is actually a very, very good move for the Ho-Oh from Ethan. You can also further power this up if you would want to go with this. But yeah, we're going to take a look at this sync grid in a couple of minutes. We're firstly going to be flying through the skills and everything, right? And then obviously you have the Heart of Shining Gold, which is also pretty nice actually when you look at it, right? So it applies gradual healing effect to all allied sync pairs, which is nice. It also increases physical moves. Now he is using physical moves and special attack moves, by the way, right? It also, the next effect and special moves, next effect all of that sync pass by 1. So basically upping physical moves and special moves by 1 rank. For Yoto, it applies a defense circle, right, to the allied field of play. And the Yoto circle defense grants all of the following effects: powers up moves and sync moves of all allied pairs by 55%, reduces attack move and sync move damage taken by 10%, and essentially you can go all to a maximum of 20% in the power up and 25% in damage reduction, which is not bad considering, right? So this move and the fact that you can use it twice as well is also not bad. So that's actually pretty good, right? And then obviously you have the sync move itself, right, which is the Blazing Heart Fire Impact. All right, let's take a look at the passive skills. Now, Shimmering Rainbow Flames is actually the first one we're going to take a look at. Now, the user's move never misses, which is nice. Let me quickly see. What's the accuracy? Okay, 85%, 100%. All right, I see. Okay. So, when a move used by this Ho-Oh targets itself or an ally is successful, the target becomes all allied sync pairs, right? When a move used by the user's Pokemon that targets an opponent is successful, the target becomes all opposing sync pairs. When the user's sync move attacks an opponent, the target becomes all opposing sync pairs. The power and chance of applying additional effect moves, and this one is nice, moves and sync moves affected by this passives are not lowered even if there are multiple targets, except obviously in certain situations, circumstances. So successful hits with the user's following attacks also become critical hits, right? Pokemon's moves or sync moves. So this one here, it's a good, very good buffing passive, right, in total. You also have the Ferocious Entry, which raises the user's attack and special attack by 4 stat ranks when it first enters the battle, right? So that's going to be coming in nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't have one... he only has a rainbow. So essentially, when you start off the match and you utilize Rainbow Flames Sacred Fire, you're also going to gain automatically defense and special defense on top of this buff here, right, from the Ferocious Entry. You also have to use a status P move, Sync CD. This one basically has a chance of 100% reducing the user sync move cooldown or countdown by 1 when its Pokemon uses a status move, right? So that's basically the passive skills in an overview from Ethan's Ho-Oh. Right, now if we're looking at the themes, obviously this one here, fire theme, definitely works well in a fire team. So something like double Ho-Oh, for example, you could even run, honestly speaking, you could run a pure Ho-Oh team, right? Triple Ho-Oh with Silver's Ho-Oh. That's going to be nice. I'm probably going to try that in the future sometime. If once I get the other Ho-Oh. And then you also have Yoto here, which raises the attack and special attack of all allied sync pairs by 1. So if you're running a full Yoto team, you're going to get a good buff here, up to 4 on the special attack and up to 7 on speed, which is nice. Also, the main character buff is going to be handy. Same, 7 and 4. And Poké Athlete, if you're running at that level 4, you're going to get another 8 buff for speed and 5 for special attack and attack. So you're going to be doing a lot of damage, essentially. So looking at Ho-Oh overall is a very solid damage dealer. Definitely better than Typhlosion, for example. But yeah. All right, now for starters, looking at this sync grid first, right? Depending on how many copies you have of him, obviously, right? I'm assuming, let's just go with you have 3 copies, right? So with 3 tiles been, let's see, 2, 3. All right, let's say you have him 3 out of 5, right? Then initial thoughts would be to grab all the universal upgrades first, right? All of these tiles. Now, you don't really need to go full on defense and everything. You probably should be. I mean, personally, I like having a buffed up unit more than having somebody who dishes out a lot of damage, depending on what kind of fight you're fighting as well, right? So at certain times, it's more beneficial to have someone with more damage output or to have somebody with more universal HP stat upgrades, right? But generally, this would be a solid base. Definitely grabbing the plus attack 10 on the bottom left here, right? So this one will also help boost the Blazing Heart Fire Impact and the Rainbow Flames Sacred Fire, right? Now, then again, you could choose what kind of role you want to go to. Now, I personally don't see much value in going here for general upgrades. So I would definitely go for nuking power. So definitely grabbing these, the sync move up here and this one to maximize the damage of the sync move is going to be your best choice when building Ethan's Ho-Oh. Because again, if we're taking a look at his numbers, I mean, in general speaking, the DPS capability is alright, right? I mean, AoE, undivided damage, is good, but not very top-notch, right? So it's pretty mediocre if you're asking me, right? Now, there is also a big damage trade-off because the base attack and special attack stats aren't really high. So that's also going to be an issue. Now, the other thing is, if you look at the sync grid, the first thing that comes or pokes my eye is that the sync grid doesn't really provide any multipliers for enhancing DPS in general, right? Which is kind of, yeah, not really that awesome. I mean, there's just general upgrades and stuff, but nothing really in terms of multipliers, right? The good thing about this, and that's why I'm essentially leaning more towards bussing up the sync move, for example. The sync grid here is more lean towards providing nuking bonus and damage, but only 100% bonus minus the base sync damage boost, right? So essentially going with maximum nuking output would be the best choice when considering how to build the sync grid. But overall, in general, you can say Ethan's Ho-Oh is a very good DPS character, right? In terms of DPS output, definitely better than a lot of other characters, and in terms of other units or Pokemon or sync pairs, however you want to call it. The good thing about Ethan's Ho-Oh is it's able to drop Sunny Day, which is nice. So you could also go, for example, something like Sunburst, for example, right? Which makes it automatically sunny, right? Or even drop in Healing Sun if you want some self-sustaining capabilities, right? Those are all options which you can go for. Right. Now, the question is, should you scout for Ethan's Ho-Oh? I mean, again, as I said, very decent sync pair. Actually, very good nuking potential. Definitely better than Ethan and Typhlosion, and definitely up there with the more better fire Pokemon sync pairs. I can see huge potential for something like a triple Ho-Oh sync pair team. That's something which sounds very interesting. Probably gonna try that sometime in the future. But yeah, definitely one of those characters which is pretty good. Now, is it a must scout unit? No, definitely not. Now, if you already have another good fire DPS Pokemon sync pair, then you're already set, right? If you do not have any, like if you're a beginner now, right? You just started the game and you want to have a good fire unit, then definitely very good choice. It's going to help to some extent clear specific stages where you're going to be struggling. So definitely not a bad choice, but again, not a must pull, right? So if you're not pulling him, again, you're not missing out something. The next Arc Suit is probably going to come around in June, July, something like that. And we're probably going to get the next Master Fair in like 2 months from now as well. So up until then, it's a kind of choice banner, right? You can go for him. If you don't go for him, you're not going to miss out something very game breaking. So essentially, you're still good if you're not going to summon for Ho-Oh. Now, anyways, do drop your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this sync pair. And yeah, as always, thanks for tuning in. Take care of yourselves. Until next time.